Do-do-do-do-do-do. Twilight is my bestest friend. Whoopee, whoopee, she's the cutest, smartest, all-around best pony. Pony, I bet if I... Oh, hey, Doc, what's up?
So, Mr. Corpulent, tell me what's on your mind.
Well, Doctor, I'm worried my girlfriend is jealous of Twilight Sparkle.
Oh? And why is that?
Well, she's my favorite pony, and I have a lot of merchandise of her, and I present the OC in my videos as having a crush on her. Additionally, I might have mentioned in the past having a crush on a different cartoon character when I was very young. From that, I think she infers I have a crush on Twilight now.
Does she happen to enjoy watching the show with you, or is this more a hobby that you partake in without her?
Well, the funny thing is, she talked me into watching the show at first, and over time I developed a genuine love for it. She's more of a fan of the older generations, and doesn't really enjoy the current show as much as I do, though she does watch new episodes with me, often only after I've already viewed them, as I cannot wait until she's ready all the time. So, it is a hobby we share, but I'm more into the show, while she's more into the toys.
It is rather fortunate that you have someone special in your life that shares at least some interest in the same hobbies that you do. I'm sure that a lot of others out there can only wish to have that as part of a relationship. But you mentioned that you're worried how she feels about the amount of interest you have in the show, specifically your interest in Twilight Sparkle as a character.
I do feel lucky to have someone with whom I can share my love for the show, but I believe she's concerned that my interest in Twilight might be emotional. We don't fight about it at all, but she has mentioned that she knows I like Twilight, and she's even called her my waifu. As a result of her feelings, whenever Twilight is featured in an episode, she can get a little standoffish and overly critical of everything she does. I do worry that on some level, it could cause some harm to our relationship, which obviously the relationship means more to me than a cartoon horse.
I see. It is quite apparent that you admire Twilight's character and even show your appreciation. But might I ask how often you compliment your girlfriend these days, compared to how often you compliment Twilight in some way?
Well, I haven't really thought about that. I think I compliment her now about as much as I always have, but sometimes, especially on days when a new episode is released that features Twilight, I might over-compliment Twilight a little around her. This was especially evident at the end of Season 4, as Twilight was my most favorite part of that episode. Additionally, she has expressed a little frustration that I use Twilight a lot in my videos, and seldom use her OC representation. I've made an effort to try and include her more in the videos recently, though.
So the amount of effort you put into your relationship was good enough for her a while back, but nowadays it doesn't seem to be quite enough?
I don't think it's that the effort I put into the relationship is lacking. Rather, I believe over time my admiration of Twilight might have reached a point where it's become threatening to her on some emotional level. Though I think logically she must know Twilight is no real threat. I tend to fall for intelligent women, and this is a large part of what attracted me to my girlfriend and Twilight Sparkle in the first place. I think she worries when she sees some of that admiration leaning more towards Twilight lately.
Well, I mentioned the amount of effort you put into your relationship because I think that may connect with the topic at hand. I wonder whether your special someone used to be quite content with the attention you showed her, but nowadays perhaps she notices that you are both capable and willing to show a greater amount of attention and dedication to someone else, even if such a character doesn't actually exist. A deeply important part of any relationship stems from the knowledge that your special someone is more dedicated to you than anyone or anything else in the world. More important than other people, other hobbies, and even our careers. Everyone needs to feel that they are special, unique, worthwhile. I do not doubt that your feelings for her have not lessened over the years, but I think I can understand why she may feel a bit left out when you say things about Twilight that you may not have ever said about her. Do you think there might be any truth to this, Corpulent?
I think you make a very valid point about the level of effort I am able to place in our relationship possibly being lessened. I do juggle a full-time job, part-time school, and over the past few months have been spending a lot of time making videos about ponies. I think to some extent, the time we've been able to spend together has decreased, and I can see how that may have a negative impact on her feelings, and even cause her to feel threatened.
It is good to think about these things every so often. Is my special someone the most important part of my life? And I realize that most everyone tends to forget that from time to time. But as long as we are dedicating ourselves to being more than we used to be, and not just coasting along with all the same little tricks that have worked in the past, I think we can be surprised by how much more love we feel in our hearts over time. Question is, do you think you are any closer to your girlfriend now than you were a year ago, or 3 years ago, or even further back than that?
We have been seeing each other for 11 years now, and in some ways I do think I feel closer to her. But at the same time, over such a long period, feelings change from initial infatuation to more of a true love, and I do feel that love for her still. We are as close as we've ever been, but I guess I don't really know what you mean by closer. Do you mean stronger feelings, or closer as in general familiarity?
Well, let me put it this way. The ancient Greeks had multiple words for love, and each of them have deeply different meanings. For example, eros refers to sensual desire and longing, and is rather commonplace in many relationships that are still in the early stages. What many people don't seem to realize, though, is that eros love cannot be the primary force that sustains a relationship. Over time, it must be coupled with agape, which refers to a more unconditional love. It is selfless. It gives and expects nothing in return. So I would like to pose a few more questions to you, Corpulent. When was the last time you brought flowers home for your special someone? Not because of any holiday obligation or even as part of a date, but just because you were thinking about her, and not because you were looking for something in return. Have there been any instances like that lately?
Not really, and in this area I feel like I fall short often. She does a lot of great small things for me, like little drawings on a whiteboard at home, or little notes she hides in the house. I really should put forth the effort to try and show my feelings through those small gestures that mean so much. You do make a great observation, and I appreciate the connection to ancient Greece as well.
Glad to be of service, Corpulent. I hope you will think about these things and remember to make that special effort in the near future. That is the kind of habit that will enrich your relationship for many years to come. Shall we continue on this next week?
Thank you so much, Doctor. I will surely keep this in mind and try harder to make these small demonstrations. I look forward to it.
Take care, Corpulent. It's good to be helping.